What's up everyone? Welcome back to the mathematical mindset. So right here we have this nice square root algebra problem and we want to simply solve for this. So the first thing guys we want to do is to simply what? Rationalize, alright? So rationalizing, we have this to be the square root of, we have 64 divide 8 minus the square root of 63 multiply. So rationalizing, all we have to do is to take the conjugate of the denominator, and taking the conjugate of denominator, we have this to be 8 plus the square root of 63 divide 8 plus the square root of what? 63. Alright, so we have this to be equal to the square root of 64 multiply 8 plus the square root of 63 divide 8 minus the square root of 63 multiply 8 plus the square root of what? 63. But if we have a minus b multiply a plus b, this is equals to a square minus b square. So we are applying this identity to the denominator. So we have this to be equal to the square root of 64 multiply 8 plus the square root of 63 divide. So applying this property, we have this to be 8 square minus the square root of 63 or square. So at this point we have this to be equal to the square root of 64 multiply 8 plus the square root of 63 divide 8 square is 64 minus this, we cancel out this, we have this to be what? 63. So this is equal to the square root of 64 multiply 8 plus the square root of 63 divide 64 minus 63 is 1. So we have this to be equal to the square root of 64 multiply 8 plus the square root of what? 63. But if we have the square root of a multiply b, this is equal to the square root of a multiply the square root of b. So this is equal to the square root of 64 multiply the square root of 8 plus the square root of what? 63. But the square root of 64 is equals to 8. So this is equals to 8 multiply the square root of 8 plus the square root of what? 63. But we know that 2 divide 2 is equals to 1. So we have this to be equal to 8 multiply the square root of what? 2 over 2 into 8 plus the square root of what? 63. So this is equals to 8 multiply the square root of 2 multiply 8 plus the square root of 63 divide what? 2. So we have this to be equal to 8 multiply the square root of 2 multiply 8 is 16 plus 2 multiply the root of 63. We have this to be 2 to the square root of 63 divide what? 2. Alright, so we have this to be equals to 8 multiply the square root of, now 16 can be expressed as 9 plus 7 plus 2 into the square root of 63 can be expressed as 9 multiply 7 divide what? 2. So we have this to be equals to 8 multiply the square root of, now we can easily express 9 to be the square root of 9 all square plus 7 can be expressed as the square root of 7 all square plus 2 multiply the square root of 9 multiply the square root of 7. Now this implies that if we have the square root of a multiply b, this is equals to the square root of a multiply the square root of b. Alright, so that is what we apply to this to get this, and this is going to divide what? 2. So from this part we want to simply say if a is equals to the square root of 9 and b is equals to the square root of 7, then we have that a square plus b square plus 2ab is equal to a plus b all square. Alright, so we have this to be equal to 8 multiply the square root of, now for the numerator, if we apply this, we have this to be the square root of 9 plus the square root of 7 all square divide what? 2. So this is equals to 8 multiply the square root of the root of 9 plus the root of 7 all square divide. Now we can easily express 2 to be the square root of 2 all square. So at this point we are going to say if we have a square divide b square, this is equals to a over b all square, right? So this is equals to 8 multiply the square root of 9 plus the square root of 7 divide the square root of 2 all square. So this we cancel out this, so we have that 8 multiply the square root of 9 plus the square root of 7 divide the square root of 2. So we have this to be equal to 8 divide the square root of 2 multiply the root of 9 plus the root of what? 7. So this is equals to 8 divide the square root of 2. Rationalizing this, multiply the root of 2, multiply the root of 2, and also multiply the square root of 9 plus the root of what? 7. So this is equals to 8 root 2 divide the square root of 2 all square multiply the square root of 9 plus the square root of what? 7. So this is equal to 8 the root of 2 divide this, we cancel out us, we have this to be 2 multiply the square root of 9 is 3 plus what's the root of what? 7. So we have this to be equal to 2 here 1, 2 into 8 is 4, so we have 4 root 2 multiply 3 plus the square root of what? 7. So this is equal to 4 the root of 2 multiply 3 plus 4 root 2 multiply the root of what? 7. So this is equals to 4 multiply 3 is 12 root 2 plus 4 into the square root of, know that if we have the root of a multiply the root of b, this is equals to the square root of a multiply b. So we have this to be 2 multiply what? 7. So this is equals to 12 root 2 plus 4 root 2 multiply 7 is going to give us 14. Okay, so we want to simply factor out the common term between 12 and 4. We have 4 to be common, and if we factor out 4 from 12, we have 3 root 2 to be left, plus if we factor out 4, we have just root 14 to be left, and this becomes the final answer. So this is how you can solve this nice square root algebra maths problem right here, and we have our final answer to be given as 4 multiply 3 root 2 plus the root of what? 14, and this becomes the final answer. So with this guys, I'm going to see you in the next video.